Good evening. It's BourbonBlog.com live. We're tasting a brand new collection of whiskeys from Bespoken Spirits. I have here with me, joining us live from Florida, Peter Iglesias. He is the CEO. Welcome to Bourbon Blog. How's it going, Peter?
Very good. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm so thrilled to have you here. I'm so excited to really crack into these because I've been hearing about them, and I already took a little preview sip. I love what you're doing. It's so interesting. It's cool technology. You have yourself. You're very talented for many years in the spirits business. You have Derek Jeter. You have a lot of great people involved. So let's dive right in. Just to have you give us the overview. What is or who is Bespoken Spirits?
Bespoken Spirits is we're a new brand, new organization. As you said, we have ties to Silicon Valley. Our founder is based there. A lot of investors from Silicon Valley because of the technology. So what we do is we finish whiskeys, and we use twice toasted wood staves and this process, and we make fantastic tasting, award-winning whiskey. And so as we move forward here, we're now opening up all over the country. We'll be in 10 states by the end of this year. Texas, Florida, California, obviously we've been in there. And it's just a really exciting time for the company and the brand.
Well, it is very exciting. I'm trying. I wasn't sure which would be best to try first, but I saw the American. I thought I'd go right for the American, and I like. Yeah, this twice toasted. Tell me how you do this, and what I'm tasting here.
So, taste profile for the whiskey. It's really unique. You kind of get notes of the smoked barbecue, dark chocolate, spice, and orange to it, and it was surprising to me. Shocking, and it's double gold medal winner. It really is shocking. It's how delicious this whiskey came out. I'm very much a fan of this one. This is a unique taste profile.
You do get an element of like a milk chocolate kind of creaminess, vanillas.
Yeah,
there is a great candied note to this. I mean, this is this doesn't exactly remind me of anything. I mean, there's a lot of element of wood and well balanced at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea. It's taking this innovation with traditional formats of making whiskey, and we're applying it together, and we're making these unique taste profiles. So it's really fascinating to watch how these things grow and how they end up.
So again, this is American whiskey as it starts its process and then comes to you. Walk us through that life and what happens to make it taste this.
We'll bring in different aged whiskeys, and then we can take things from right off the still and use our technology to make it taste great. We can take a year-old, 2-year-old, and really, turn it into something. So with our American whiskey, we'll take it's a little less than 2 years old. We'll bring it in, and we'll start our process with the wood staves. And you put it in a controlled environment, use pressure, heat, and vibration, and it creates this. With the wood staves in the system, it creates this taste profile. That's how it works.
Beautiful. So again, this comes into you. It's a little less than 2 years old. You use a technology called activation?
Activation, correct. Yeah.
Activation. It's proprietary. It took how long? Tell us about how that happened. How long did it take to develop?
So that's kind of what sets us apart is we can actually make this in 4 days, whereas you got to stick something in a barrel and hope it turns out good 3, 5, 6, 7 years. And so that's what sets us apart, from it's a bit of a disruptor if you look at it. It's all for us. What makes it special is the sustainability. And we live in a day and age now where clearly, people are conscious of how we make things, and can we make it better? Can we make it safer? And just save the environment. And, our process does that. It makes things taste delicious. And frankly, we're using less wood, we're using less energy, we're losing some of the angel share depending on how old it is. And
Right.
so overall, it's a great process, and it's great to be a part of the process because it's exciting for me to be a part of something like this.
It is so unique. And I know there's going to be, and we'll address in a moment, some people watching that have, they've only heard about these types of processes, and they're like, wait a minute, how, tell us why. But I mean, I want to make sure I have this right. You're using 1% of the electricity that traditional maturation would use. You're saving a lot of electricity, correct?
It's significant, yeah. And if you also, something else to kind of consider is think of how much space you store barrels in.
Right.
Okay? And if you cut that, even by 20%, the savings is significant. So it is really, and there's other people out there doing this, something similar to this, but what differentiates us really is we're doing it, and the process is different, but we're winning awards. I mean, we've won 150 awards in 4 years, and San Francisco, New York, World of Whiskeys, double gold. It's really amazing how well they've done. I mean, I haven't seen this in my 20 plus year career. It's for something this new to come out and have this kind of impact in the awards venue is pretty fascinating.
It really is. In addition to less electricity use, from what I'm reading here, 3% of the wood of traditional maturation. You're using about only 3% of the wood.
Well, wood staves are about this big.
Wow.
So it's it's a tremendous savings. I mean, it's all about sustainability for us. I mean, that's kind of our innovation, and that's our the tailored wood finish is really what makes it special. And being sustainable, like I said, and you look at these big companies today, the Beam Centauris, the Pernod Ricard, and these publicly traded companies are really, there's a lot of pressure on them to figure out a way to be more sustainable and to go green. So there is a lot of interest in our technology, and that's exciting to me because everybody wants to get better, and everybody wants to understand, okay, what is this technology? How do they do it? And that's kind of our little secret here. So it's neat to be
a bit of a secret. Now, without giving away the secret, just so we can all visualize this, you get whiskey that's probably has some age to it sent to you in. Do they send it in barrels? Do they send it?
Yeah, they send it in barrels.
In barrels. You take that whiskey and you put it into
the activators, and then the activators work their magic.
Like a big container.
Yeah, it's like a big container. Right. It's a big metal container that we do the process in.
And that's where the magic happens. That's where you're putting extra wood in.
Yeah, that's where we finish everything.
Exactly. And there's this magic, there's not magic, but there's a process that's
the process,
that's time, that's heat, that brings out movement. Are they new oak staves? Are they used oak staves? Variety?
We use what we call twice toasted oak staves. They are new from new barrels. So yeah.
Excellent. And then after 4 days, you have something that could have taken. I mean, as I'm drinking this is less than 2 years old. This does taste older. I mean, it really does. Would I have ever guessed it had been through a process? Probably not, unless you told me. I mean, it's very unique. I really get a lot of that. You mentioned chocolate and orange. It reminds me of some of those chocolate orange candies. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I have a funny story to tell you. When I first was talking to the Bespoken board about coming over, I was like, well, you know what? I've got to taste it because I love bourbon. I've been drinking bourbon for 20 years, and I was like, I can't do this if I don't like it. And so I got a couple bottles and I did a tasting, and thank heavens I loved it. And it was delicious. So I'm a fan myself. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I poured some of the bourbon. The bourbon whiskey is finished with oak stave. So again, they have an American, a bourbon, and a rye.
Yeah.
Rye last. Tell us about the bourbon that we have here.
So the bourbon has, like, I would say, more of a toffee kind of chocolate toasted almond taste profile to it.
Yeah,
real delicious. For me, it's my favorite of the three.
it is nice.
It's, again, very similar process. This is a 2-year-old that we use to start with, and we finish with our process. So again, has a little sweeter scent to it and taste to it, I should say. And I personally, we talk about it, but I do get the chocolate, almost toasted almond feel to it.
I do too. There's something I'm getting on it that is, I don't know why, it's holiday Christmas like, and I don't know if that's kind of an allspice, a nutmeg, but there's this Christmassy note.
Yeah.
Have you gotten that? Heard that? I'm trying to figure out what that.
I have heard that, actually. Yeah.
What is it? Did you just put Christmas in your activator as well? Is that what you did? Santa waved his magic wand. No, I do like it. What is it though? You think it's a cinnamon? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I thought it's probably got a touch of nutmeg, feel and cinnamon to it. So, the cocktail, the toasted almond cocktail, it kind of brings that out when I'm drinking it. And
you make a cocktail out of this.
You could, yeah, absolutely. I personally, I'm a Godfather fan, believe it or not, and I use bourbon with a Godfather instead of Scotch, and I do a nice orange peel to it, and
beautiful.
It's delicious, man. Yeah.
It really is good. And again, I want to remind everybody who's watching this that I know that this is a conversation that comes up. Somebody just asked me this the other day. They said, we know there's these advanced maturation techniques in bourbon, and I said, yes, there is, and they're everything from using technology, which you're using more than just barrels. There's also the technology that's simple of double oaked bourbons. I mean, in some ways, that's advanced maturation. Sure. What Baker's 46 kind of created, I know there's other places that did in Scotland, is advanced maturation. There's all types of advanced maturation. So as we begin that conversation, we talk to each other. Are you in favor of these? Are you against them? My thought is always look at what it's already being done and just judge it on its merits. And I don't think there will ever be a day that I can see where technology is going to overtake traditional aging. They're always going to both be there. But I'm sure that's a question you get some. How do you reply to it? How do you?
I agree 100% with what you just said there. And you have your whiskey traditionalist, and you're not going to change that. That's, and nor do I want to.
Sure.
I think what we do is just we finish it differently, and and we make delicious whiskey. It's award-winning whiskey, and we're more sustainable. And I think what you're going to see as we move on in time, you have these next generation bourbon explorers, whiskey explorers, who are more conscious of sustainability and how people make certain products and so forth. You look at technology as a whole. Look at electric cars. There was a lot of pushback there. You look at computers and even apps on phones today. I mean, technology is moving so rapidly that I think the spirits industry is actually pretty slow, man. Not that that's a bad thing, but they may be a little behind the times. But and we're not trying to change anything. Believe me, I enjoy some really great aged whiskey out there, and but we are offering something that is delicious. It is more sustainable. And I think there are plenty of whiskey explorers out there that would love our whiskey. And that's what we're hoping, those people come and try. And I think as time goes on, and as technology continues to progress, I believe we will have more people trying the whiskey and jumping on board.
Yeah, I do too. And I'll just say again, myself, as you're listening, me, Tom Fischer, I've loved good aged bourbons for a while, 20-year plus, 10-year-old plus, whatever it may be. I know that the fear, some people's minds is that there'll be a magic switch that the whiskey the whiskey god in the sky. I don't know what that the industry will say. We're going to flip this on, and we're never going to do it the same way again, and everything will be done like this. And you're never, I don't think that's going to happen. I know that's the fear, but I know that there will always be a blend of technology and also traditional. That's what
I agree, and that's a perfect analogy for who we are, because we're kind of taking both and making one and making this unique. Yeah.
And thanks for indulging us in that, because I know that's always one of those things we get, but I think that bourbon and whiskey drinkers and enthusiasts are getting more and more experimental and appreciating this. And again, if you're listening here, you're just tuning in, really, you got to try Bespoken. It is so interesting. I'm going to try the rye next, but here's the thing. You've been taking this whiskey, bringing it into California. You've been doing this in California. Soon you're going to be in Lexington. What's that going to look like?
Yeah. So we are thrilled. I was just at the Derby last week, and we had a board meeting in Lexington in the new facility. And so by the end of this year, we will be in what we call the Gray Line Station. So we'll have our R&D lab and our offices and our home base will be in there. And then across the way, we have our production facility where we'll also be distilling spirits, and we will have our technology set up there, our activators to do our process as well. And then, we'll also have an outside storage area if need be in the future. So really, really excited about this, because look, it's no secret, the supply chain issues out there, it's been challenging, and to get stuff across the country to California has been challenging. So this really helps us. And it also, it builds the sustainability, platform that we're trying to, we're trying to do things in a more sustainable manner, not just make it, but how we get the different things to make the process happen. So I think, and also being in Kentucky, it's the heart of bourbon country. And
that's right.
It's truly, it's a home away from home for me. I love Kentucky, and because I'm such a bourbon fan, and being a part of that community is critical, I think, for any bourbon to be successful. And I think it's a good way to just jump right in and teach people and show people that what we're doing, we believe is a good thing.
Absolutely. And so you'll be just really close by to where I am. It'll be in Lexington, Kentucky, in the Gray Line Station area.
Yes.
You watch it probably by the end of the year.
Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
And when you're there, are you going to, how will that, you will be distilling some and doing the aging? What will all that look like?
Yeah, so we'll do everything there. And as we grow, clearly we'll need to adapt and adjust, and perhaps take the production facility to a larger facility. But for the time being, and we are growing at this point in time, we will be in 10 states this year, and then another 5 or 6 next year. So it's really starting to flourish for us. And, distributor partners are excited about the process, and, they're very curious. And I think, it's a bit of a disruptor. People are like, what is that? And they want to know, they want to taste it. And that's a cool thing. That's a great thing.
No, I love that you're disrupting. You're doing something new and different. You'll be in Kentucky soon. BespokenSpirits.com is where to go to find all the places that you all are. Yes. You're in how many total states now? You said 10?
We're in about 6 right now. So Florida, Texas, California, the big. We'll be in Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, New York. We're in Michigan, and we're in Washington State right now. So, things are moving right along. It's great.
And when you go onto the website, if you want to try one of these delicious whiskeys, the American whiskey, the rye, the bourbon, can you purchase them online, or is there a place?
Yeah, you can purchase them online. Yeah, you can. You just go to Bespoken.com, and it'll take you to the e-commerce area. We're in some pretty big. We're in California. We're in Safeway. we're in Bevmo, we're in Total Wine. We just opened Florida last month. We just opened Texas this month. So that's all building up here. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. Yeah. Yeah.
The rye I'm trying now. I really like the rye. Tell us about the recipe, a little bit about the rye.
Yeah, the rye is, again, it has those dark chocolate notes,
Yes.
walnut, spice. I even get a little maple syrup.
There is some of that. I get kind of that maple syrup note.
Yeah,
Dark cherries. Do we know what the recipe for the rye is, or is it a maybe a blend of recipes?
Yeah, it's our tastemakers
Really good.
little secret recipe there. We just we just won some great awards for this. The rye. The rye is unbelievable.
It really is a nice one.
I'm not a huge rye drinker. I do drink rye, but when I tasted this, I was pretty blown away by
Some beautiful older rye notes in this. I mean, it does. Again, this starts before you finish it. This is it. Am I right? Is it about 2 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it tastes much older. It goes into those darker fruit notes. The spices there. What do these? I know people will ask down below. Retail at
depending on the state, but anywhere between $40 and $45. Just every state's a little different with the tax brackets there.
Sure. No, that's a very fair price on this. It's very tasty. Again, Derek Jeter, TJ Rogers, Silicon Valley. What's it like having Derek Jeter involved in this? This is it's pretty cool.
Well, it's nice to be. He's one of our first believers in the technology, and he was one of our very first investors. And I grew up loving this guy, by the way. I'm a huge baseball fan. And so having him part of this has been a wonderful experience. And TJ Rogers is from the semiconductor part of the world, world renowned in Silicon Valley. Just a fantastic businessman and so much knowledge in how a business is ran and how to be successful. And he is a huge believer in this. He's one of our biggest shareholders. And so having those type of people believing in this technology and believing in us, it's pretty cool. I sit back and I reflect and I go, you know what, I'm working with some wonderful people, and they're entrusting me in leading this organization and building this brand into and taking this technology out to the world. And that's a huge responsibility and something that I take very serious and something I'm very proud to do every day. It's exciting to wake up every day and do this, and it's not just another brand. It's, I think we're doing something good for the world, at least the whiskey world. And, by bringing this great tasting whiskey, award-winning whiskey, with this unique technology and creating a more sustainable way to make great tasting whiskey.
Absolutely. Well done. And congratulations on the awards, on what you're doing. Really just some delicious whiskeys, and so exciting that you will be soon in Lexington, Kentucky. But no matter where you are, of course, as a spirits brand, if you're watching, we love whiskeys from East Coast to West Coast. We love them all. We love good stuff. So again, this is the bottle to look for. Go to that website and check out what they're doing. Follow them on social. And thanks for the chance to catch up a bit today. Can't wait to see you, hopefully, when you're back in Lexington, and have a sip of some of your fine whiskey with you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time, Tom. It was a pleasure.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And again, you have the three: the American, the bourbon, the rye. Obviously, I mean, that's a lot to start with. Are there any that will be coming in the future that we might want to watch for?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Our technology makes it a lot easier to partner with people to, create a specific taste profile that they're looking for. So we
Right.
do have 2 artist partnerships that we'll be creating whiskey for. So
Nice.
in essence, the way the process works is the artist will come and they'll say, I want something to taste like X, Y, and Z. And then we can create different taste profiles, and then they get to pick their own distinct taste profiles. So I'm excited to announce our 2 artists are Leonard Skinner. We'll be making a whiskey
Wow.
for the band for their 50th anniversary tour this year. And also a band called Whiskey Myers, one of the
Yeah.
top country rock bands out there right now. And so we get to launch those here in the next 3 to 6 months. And
That's very
exciting
cool.
time. So not just the Bespoken portfolio, but our artist partnership as well. So, really, really great time for
Those
us,
are
and
very
we're
exciting.
pumped. Yeah.
So Leonard Skinner, is it will be a whiskey, a bourbon, or will it be
It'll be an American whiskey.
American
Okay.
whiskey?
And it is I'll give you the name. It's called Hell House. And
Hell
Hell
no.
House is the little house that they wrote all their original songs. So really cool. We'll be sending out. Actually, you're the first to know this, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, and the Whiskey Myers. It is a bourbon. It's amazing bourbon, by the way, as is
Cool.
Skinner's. But theirs is called Uncle Chicken, which is a term that they came up with, and it's something that's very important to them, and it's a term that they use throughout the years of being a band together. And
That's cool.
so really, really cool stuff happening with those 2 guys, and the Bespoken brand as a whole. Yeah.
Well, you're helping the world of whiskey enthusiasts and rock and country stars keep on doing their thing. That's
This is true.
thanks for letting us know first on BourbonBlog, and
Yeah.
we'll look out for Uncle Chicken and Hell House.
Yes.
Those will be in some of the same states you're in, or just
They'll
different.
be in all the states that we're in, and they'll be launching a little bit later because we're still in the production part of things. So yeah, but it'll happen this year.
Wonderful. Congratulations on those, Peter. Really wonderful to have you on. And I tell you, I liked all 3 of these. I'm really a fan.
I'm so happy.
They all go different places with the finish. They're all beautiful.
Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Really am.
Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for watching. Take a moment to like and share this video, and watch out for more from BourbonBlog Live, and be looking for Bespoken Spirits.